a face in the shadows. It was a cool September evening, with the soft glow of streetlights casting a mellow hue on the rain-wet sidewalks. My day had been busy with volleyball practice, and I usually hopped on the bus for the journey back home. But fate had other plans. I missed the bus that day. Rather than endure a 20-minute wait for the next one, I decided to save time and make the journey on foot. Fortunately, I lived relatively close to my school, and I had walked this path many times before. My residence was nestled within a well-manicured, gated neighborhood, the kind where neighbors would discreetly judge you for not mowing your lawn this week or failing to put up the proper holiday decorations. Crime was virtually unheard of in this area, which is why, despite being just 13 at the time, I felt unafraid walking alone through the night. The only sounds were the distant chirping of crickets and the occasional whoosh of cars passing by. I checked the time on my phone. It was already 9 o'clock, and I still had homework to complete, including a report due the following morning. To expedite my already brief walk, I decided to cut through the park. The darkness had transformed this usually idyllic patch of greenery into something reminiscent of a foreboding forest. Meandering paved pathways snaked through thick foliage, leading to a central pond where, on sunny summer days, soccer moms and their kids would bask in the sun. But tonight, all that awaited me were rows of empty benches surrounding the pond, and its waters were littered with branches and withered leaves, stirred only occasionally by gentle ripples. The only illumination emanated from lampposts on opposite sides of the clearing. As I cast a glance back towards the shadowy woods, something caught my eye. I can't say for sure why I noticed it. Perhaps it was mere chance, or perhaps it was something more. What if I had chosen to ignore it? Would it have ignored me as well, or had it been observing me all along, waiting for that opportune moment to reveal itself? I cleaned my glasses with the sleeve of my shirt, placed them back on my face, and squinted at the strange sight. Suspended between two pine trees was something round and pale, seemingly detached from everything, like a solitary white dot on a pitch-black canvas. I cautiously approached, attempting to discern what it might be, and in that moment my heart plummeted. There, between those trees, was a face gazing directly at me. In a startled frenzy, I leaped back with a scream. The apparition, however, remained unnerved, its wide, glassy eyes fixed on me. Its lips curled into an eerie porcelain smile, its skin unnaturally pale, reminiscent of a mannequin. Panic surged within me, urging me to flee, to put as much distance between myself and this ghastly entity. But my legs refused to comply. It wasn't fear that paralyzed me. It was something invisible, something I couldn't see, akin to invisible hands that immobilized me, tightening their grip with every futile plea for escape. The disembodied visage inched closer, gliding through the shadows that separated us. Or was I being inexorably drawn toward it? Whatever the case, it was rapidly closing the distance between us. With its mouth, a gaping maw, suddenly opened to grotesque dimensions, revealing a horrifying void that could easily swallow me whole. I struggled to break free, to wrest myself from its invisible clutches, but my efforts proved futile. In its eyes, I could see satisfaction, a ravenous hunger, and its black void advanced relentlessly. Though I've never been particularly religious, I can't help but feel that someone or something was watching over me that fateful night. What transpired next can only be described as miraculous. Just as I teetered on the precipice of surrendering to the whims of fate, I felt a strong tug on my sweatpants waistband. A colossal, hairy shadow leaped between me and the approaching specter, shielding me from its eerie grasp. Judging by the collar around its neck and the trailing leash, it was someone's dog. In a state of shock, all I could do was sit and observe as the dog confronted the enigmatic entity lurking in the woods, its guttural barks resounding through the park. Soon the owner, an elderly woman in her 50s, rushed over. She extended a hand to help me up and immediately assumed that her dog had attacked me, all while apologizing profusely. I shook my head and attempted to explain, though I doubt my words formed anything comprehensible. By the time I managed to string together a coherent sentence, the enigmatic face had vanished, leaving only an empty void in its wake. The most unsettling part of the encounter, I never discovered what it truly was. Was it a ghost, a malevolent entity, or the result of a psychotic episode? To this day, I remain unsure, and the shadow of that night's events continues to haunt my thoughts. My only witness, the dog, is likely long gone. Nonetheless, my story finds a somewhat happier conclusion. The following year, my canine savior became the father of 8 healthy puppies. Convincing my parents to adopt one of them proved to be a formidable task, but eventually they relented, and for Christmas, we welcomed a scruffy little princess into our family, whom we named Rosie. Now she's peacefully dozing on the couch beside me, though we affectionately refer to her as Grandma Rosie. In the upcoming month, she'll celebrate her 9th birthday, an occasion I fervently hope we'll be able to commemorate. In an uncertain world, such celebrations grow increasingly precious. I know it's customary for stories like mine to end with a warning. However, the dilemma lies in the fact that I possess as much insight into that night as any other person. I've scoured old newspapers, forums, and internet archives in search of some convenient confirmation of my experience, which would have spared me years of self-doubt regarding my sanity. Regrettably, the real world seldom conforms to such expectations. My luck appears to have its limits. So, I'll leave you with this piece of advice. When it's late and you have the opportunity, do yourself a favor and opt for the bus.